All right, before we get into this afternoon's panel sessions, we have a great keynote speaker for you. As a journalism major myself and a former college sports information director, I'm honored to introduce our keynote speaker for today's Governor Small Business Summit here in Round Rock. After beginning his career in the newspaper business at the Houston Chronicle and the Austin Business Journal, John Garrett, along with his wife Jennifer, launched the first edition of the Community Impact newspaper in 2005 from the game room of their home, serving residents of Round Rock and Pflugerville. Today, known simply as Community Impact, the company has grown to become the largest local news organization in Texas, delivering 2.5 million print editions each month and 180,000 email editions each day. In addition, John and Jennifer opened Community Impact Printing in 2016, a full-service operation that services both Community Impact and other customers nationwide. Over the years, Community Impact has received numerous accolades, including over 100 industry awards for journalism, design, and advertising. The company was ranked for 7 consecutive years as one of Inc. 5000's fastest-growing companies and was recognized by Forbes as one of the best small businesses in the U.S. John has also received various personal recognitions, such as being named Austin's Best Small Business CEO by the Austin Business Journal, receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award from Recognized Good for Ethics in Business and Community, and being listed as a top diversity champion by Austin's Black Business Journal and Community News Magazine. Please help me in joining John Garrett to the stage.
All right, they said I could take the mic off because I don't think I can sit behind this stand the whole time. It's a privilege being with you guys. My name is John Garrett. My wife and I did start Community Impact when this was just a field, and now here we are in this amazing facility. I'm grateful for entrepreneurs like the family who built the Nelson family who built this facility, who are invested in helping make things great in our community. I'm going to tell you the story of Community Impact, but I just want you to know a couple of things. Number one, I really care about leaving you guys with useful information. One of the things about our paper is we always want to be useful. We don't just tell you what happened. We want you to know that you can do something with the information. And I know that there's people in this room that are just starting a business. There's people in this room that are thinking about starting a business. There's business people that have a business. And then there's the rest of you that are our support group because we're crazy, right? And I want to thank all of you, and I hope I have something for you that I've learned along the way, sometimes by being lucky, and just making the right choice, and other times, frankly, by making really big mistakes. So hopefully it's helpful to you, and you'll find that this talk will actually leave you some things to take away. I've got this little clicker here. It's not working. Oh, wait, I'm hitting the wrong button. Yeah, that helps. Okay, see? Newspaper guy right here. All right, let's talk about the newspaper. So this is 2005. I was at the Austin Business Journal, driving around. I actually was driving downtown Austin every day. Who was here back in 2005? That'd be interesting. Okay, y'all remember that? Like, we didn't know where the toll roads were going. We didn't know how much they were costing. In fact, this was before Google Maps, if you can imagine. Like, it just come out. So we didn't know any of this stuff. And what I wanted to know was, how was my commute going to be? Because I was seeing the construction. That was the photo that we used on the first cover of our paper back in September 2005. But we didn't know where they were going. And so we launched the paper to tell people this stuff because we felt like people wanted to know this stuff. So I, like many of you, went to try to go get a loan from a bank and found out that was very, very hard, even though I had good credit and I thought I had a good idea. The bankers it was tough to do. So you have to kind of figure out unique ways to do that. And so I went and called Southwest Airlines Visa card, and I told them, hey, I'm looking to do some work around my house. And what I meant is I was actually going to be working in the game room of my house, right? But could I get a line, extension in my credit? And then sure enough, they did. They gave me a $40,000 line of credit. Well, it's really a credit card. And then they had those convenience checks. Remember? You may have seen those before. So I cashed a $39,000 credit card loan, because if you go to 40,000, then the loan went from like 3.9% to like 1,000%, right? So at $39,000 to keep it under the minimum, and I went to work. And this is a picture of our launch party, September 9th, 2005. I always joke because that looks like that's my son in the middle, but that's actually me. My wife is next to me there. She still is as beautiful, more beautiful than ever. But we celebrated that night not knowing one thing. We were actually at a sushi house in Round Rock, and there's actually people eating their sushi who never had heard of community impact. And we were having this kind of launch party in front of people. It was kind of awkward if you were there eating. And they're like, what are these people doing? But we passed out some of the papers and people would go through them. And right away, we knew we had done a good job. And we mailed 60,000 newspapers for free, telling people where these toll roads went. And the next month, we really were off into the races. I had to hit the other button. So now we started with one paper. We now have 39 papers around Texas. We're in 2.5 million households. We have a great daily email newsletter now that goes out. It's very popular. We're in 4 metros. We have 200 impactors. And it all started with that $39,000 credit card loan that thankfully I was able to pay off eventually. I'll talk more about that in a minute. We are a family-owned news organization. We really like to talk about this internally and externally because there's a lot of news organizations out there. And people are like, can you trust the news that you are getting? And I like for people to know we're just like you. Our kids, the 2 oldest daughters, my oldest daughter's at University of Texas. She's studying journalism. Hopefully one day she'll take over the business, or one of them will. I've got 3 chances. Ruby's going to Arkansas this next fall, and then Sophie's a junior at McNeil High School. So we're live in the community. We care about the community, and we are privately owned. No outside investors, and we're doing that on purpose because we want to build a 100-year news organization that people could trust. We're values-driven. Those are our 5 values. It's a nod to the David and Goliath story. You remember David went to get 5 smooth stones, and he wasn't as scared of taking down the giant. And I wonder if you think about giants in your industry. For me, back then, I thought about the Austin American-Statesman, or I thought about the Houston Chronicle. I thought about these daily newspapers. What happens is the giants just get bigger because now I'm up against Google and I'm up against Meta, right? Like the giants just get bigger, but we're not scared of them because we have our 5 smooth stones. We have our values. We know that we're here to accomplish something great. We want to be innovative. We're passionate. We care about quality, and we certainly care about integrity. So we make our decisions based through these values as a company. Our vision is we want to build communities of informed citizens, and we want to help local businesses thrive, and we want to do it with a collaboration of a passionate team. We feel like it's a moral authority. If we can help people connect instead of be a news organization that divides, that's really good. If we can help local businesses thrive through advertising, and just even when you open up a new store, we write about it. We don't charge for that. We can just help people get the word out about your store and your bet on their community. We all win. And if we can do it in an environment where people like to go to work and care about each other, then we're doing a good job. This is what we're building towards. This is what many times we feel we're there. And then I do something stupid, or one of my employees does something stupid. We have to start all over again. But this is the vision. This is where we're going as a company. This is our business model. It's actually pretty simple. It's the idea that great content, if you have great content, then you're going to get readers. And if you have readers, you're going to get people to give you money to talk to those readers, right? That's advertising revenue. And the key to our business success and our ability to grow is we take those revenues, we take those profits that hopefully each one of you will see, and we reinvest it into the content, into the product itself. And what happens is when you're able to do that, the triangle actually grows. You get more readers, you get more advertisers, right? Your content gets better, so you keep investing in content. It's just like any other business that you're building. When you continue to invest in your people and your product, you can build a bigger triangle, whatever your triangle is, whatever the thing that makes your company go. This is what makes our company go. And certainly talent is at the center of everything. It is really true as you build your team. You really need to find people that are smarter than you. Anybody that has met community impact executives knows that the entire team is smarter than me, okay? That's the reality is I want people that I go to that I can teach, that can help, and then they can make better decisions than I can. And as you build your business, I'd recommend to continue to think about how, when you hire people, is there something that they know that you don't know that you need to know, and they're smarter than you at that? I'd recommend looking at hiring them. And look, it's working. This is a latest Round Rock survey. A lot of cities now do these surveys all around the state. I could show you 8 or 9 of these around Texas that I've seen. And what they're trying to find out is, like, where do citizens get their news about Round Rock? This is not our data. This is the city of Round Rock's data. They pay for this. And you can see that nearly 76%, 77% of Round Rock citizens get their information about the city from community impact. What's really cool is the 2020 data was about 74%, so we've grown. And I think that might be our email newsletter, but we've just done a better job, I think, of reaching citizens. And I'm grateful for that. And frankly, if you follow our industry, you know that as much as the governor and his staff has helped create what's been called the Texas miracle with our economy, the fact that we're here, community impact's kind of a miracle. And what I want to encourage you about is that you don't know that you're in a miracle when you're in the middle of it sometimes, right? It takes getting through the hard times. It takes getting through the difficulty. It takes facing the difficulty to know that you're in a miracle, right? And so I want to encourage you, if that's what you're kind of facing right now, some hard times, a miracle can happen, but you don't know until at the end. We have what we call the Fidgetal approach. Now, I'm from Pflugerville, so this really should be PF, Pflugerville Fidgetal approach, right? But we believe in the power of a physical presence and a digital presence. If you have a storefront, obviously having a great website where people can find information about you is so important, and also a physical presence in the community. We show up to every chamber event. We're members of 50 or plus chambers around the state. Although Round Rock is the best. Shout out to Round Rock Chamber. They're amazing. They were so, when we started, the Round Rock Chamber helped us so much to get started. I would encourage you to join the chamber wherever you live if you care about doing business in those markets. But we care about being at events. We care about showing up, and we think that that's the future. So we have a great print product that we call, that's the physical Peter Fidgetal, and we have really great website as well as a fantastic world award-winning newsletter. We were ranked the #1 local newsletter in the United States by the World Association of News Publishers just recently. So if you don't get our newsletter, don't worry, I've got a QR link for you later. You can scan. All right, let me talk to you about, for if you're a new business or you're a younger business, I want to give you some real practical steps or practical advice that I have found helpful to me that I share with like any of my family members or any of my friends that are thinking about starting a business. And these are a lot of things that either like somebody shared with me or that I just kind of learned the hard way. The first thing is think about who your banker is, think about who your accountant is, and think about who your lawyer is. When I first started Community Impact, my advisor piece was really good on the banker side. Finding somebody that's local, like if you think you're just going to walk into a big bank like I did and just say, hey, I've got this business idea, they're just going to give you money like I did, you're just wrong. Like that's not how it works. I got my first line of credit because I started showing up to Chamber of Commerce events, met local bankers, and they got to know me, and they got to know the business. It's so important that you get to know a local banker. Our bank's in the back. They're a great local bank as well. But there's a lot of great people you can get to know, but I would really encourage you to find a local banker. Accountant. Okay, listen, I don't know about you, but when I started, I was thinking about, hey, can I write off my car? Could I go buy a plane and just write it off, right? Did you think about that kind of stuff? I didn't understand how taxes work. So get a good accountant. My accountant gave me the best advice in the world. He's like, hey, stop thinking about all these tax deductions and start thinking about making money. I'll take care of the tax deductions. You make a profit. And that was the best advice I possibly could have given from my accountant. And this also setting up your business is really important. You got to make sure you hire a good lawyer because the lawyer will help you make sure the structure is good, and it's worth it's expensive. $1,000, $1,500, $2,500. That's a lot of money when you have $39,000 of loan out, right? But it's so important. Now, the one mistake I made was insurance, and I'll tell you what happened to me. October 2005. Remember, we started in September 2005. We published what we called a healthcare directory, and I'll never forget this moment. We made a mistake in the healthcare directory, and one of the people was like threatening to sue, and I didn't understand all the laws. I didn't understand that it didn't really matter. We could just run a correction. But anyways, he was trying to sue us, and it was a Friday afternoon. And by the way, there's this thing called libel insurance. It was going to cost me $3,500 for it. I was like, man, I cannot afford that, right? I just got started. And I'll never forget, one of my mentors walks into Pflugerville. This guy, like he drives a Maserati. So him to be in Pflugerville was just a strange God thing. I'm telling you, on a Friday afternoon, I don't think the guy's ever been to Pflugerville before. He just walks into my office and he's like, hey, why is everybody so down around here? It's a Friday afternoon. And I told him what happened and he said, hey, did you buy that insurance? And I was like, no. He's like, how would you feel right now if you had bought that insurance? And he's like, also, side note, don't ever let your employees leave on a Friday feeling like this. Oh, man, hit me good, right? So get good advisors, spend the money, try to do what you want to do. Also, make that hire. What do I mean by that? There's a point in your small business where you need to hire somebody. And I was at that point early. It's probably November, maybe 3 or 4 months in. I needed to hire a sales assistant because I was doing all the advertising. I was going around. It was really hard. And I remember calling my buddy in Houston who's a successful business owner. And I was like, hey, what do I do? He's like, hey, don't do it. It's $40,000 out of your pocket. Like it was going to cost me $40,000 to hire this person. And he's like, don't do it. That's like 40. And luckily I didn't listen to him and I hired this person. Listen, this person I got so much more done when she was taking care of our customers. She was really good at it. She was actually growing the business. I was able to talk to other new customers. So I know it's a lot of money sometimes to hire people. But if you hire the right person, it'll take so much time off of you so that you can go do greater things. I teach my people today to do the math. Whatever your revenue is, divided by the number of hours you work a year. And whatever that number comes out to being, so our printing company does about $7, $8 million of revenue. My lead of the printing company, it comes out to $3,000. Anything over $3,000 is his responsibility. Anything under $3,000 is not his responsibility. He needs to delegate it. So when you get to that point, you start doing the math on your annual revenue. That's a good kind of rule of thumb to use. What should you be doing and what should you be delegating? If you can't delegate it, it's either because you don't have the people or you have the wrong people. But if you can't if you need to think about what your hourly rate really is and stay focused on the things that matter above that line. And also, guys, I just want to encourage you, those could be hard days. Summer 2005 was really rough. Before we launched the paper, I was in my red truck driving around talking to local businesses. And listen, everybody thought starting a newspaper was a really good idea until they saw how much I wanted to charge for advertising. And then they were like, good luck to you, right? I got told no 1,000 times, right? By local businesses who had great intents and they wanted me to be successful. But listen, it was a hard time driving around the truck. You know what kept me going? What kept me going is that I believe the difference between there's something that has to be and there's something that should be, right? Has to be and something that could be. Like you could start that business, right? But if you have to start the business, that's really important. Think about why you're doing it in the first place. If it has to be, remember that, write it down. Why? Why does it have to be that I start this new business? Why does it have to be? Maybe it's your future. Maybe it's serving. For me, it was the community that needed to know. Like I had a has to be. And so when you're getting beat up by whoever, you can remember, and that's what keeps you going through those very difficult times. Remember that. Now I want to talk a little bit about growing businesses, or those of y'all might be a little bit more mature businesses. This is some advice I have for you. Number one, don't make that higher. I remember before I was like, okay, listen, I can't tell you how how easy it is to get fat when you start getting revenue and start getting success with profit. You get fat, you get fat. And sometimes, in our case, we hired too many people. I'm just being honest. We got too fat, we got over our skis, and 2020 came, and listen, it hit